So we are officially in February, and this of course is the month of the new DLC for Marvel's Avengers, which is Hawkeye's DLC. Now, if you did see the last video on this topic, then you'll know everything that is going down, but if you haven't, then go ahead and check that out. But since then, we got a dev live stream, which has some more interesting information as to what this DLC will contain. But earlier today, I also uploaded a video regarding Gotham Knights, and essentially asking the question as to, do you think Gotham Knights will outperform Marvel's Avengers? Now, if you want to get involved in that debate, go ahead and check out that video. The link will be in the description below, because that's a game that's coming out this year. Essentially, there's no sign of a delay there, and well, Marvel's Avengers so far, let's just mark it as February, is when the second DLC is going down. Essentially puts us almost like 2 points up, right? But between now and the end of the year, how much content will be added to this game is basically what determines its longevity. But nonetheless, let's dive into this video. As always, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe for more awesome content if you haven't already, and starting off with the information. So, like I said, it does come from a dev live stream, and they went ahead and just basically went ahead and dropped some really interesting info when it comes down to the combat aspect, because the biggest question has been, how is Clint going to play different from Kate Bishop? But ultimately, it's more, I guess, without intentionally saying it, but giving us reasons as to just basically say I'm looking forward to this DLC, because the really big overall question is this DLC even big enough for you to look forward to? Has it changed your mind on this game? Has it done any of that, right? So going in with the info, first of all, Clint has pulsar and tripwire arrows. Now this already is going to be a ton of fun, especially when it comes down to doing, well, situations like when it comes down to being in a vault situation and overall you're more or less give or take doing the waves. That is going to come in way more handy than you think, and again, it's how it plays out. But we've always said that the combat aspect of this game is always pulled off correctly. Like, you can't say the combat aspect of this game is bad in some sectors, when overall you look at it and when you compare the other characters, they are definitely unique in their own way. So that's one reason why I'm looking forward to this. But with the next gen update, and this is something that's going to be more or less announced with this reveal, which now is 15 days away, by the way, until we get the official trailer. And I do just want to add here, because I know there's been quite some confusion regarding this, but Hawkeye's DLC is not going to get released on the 15th of February. It's basically just the trailer that's going down. So the deep dive video is not the release. I mean, if I had to really give an exact answer as to when I think the release will be for it, I would say probably the week after, maybe 2 weeks after. Either way, it definitely has to be in February, but don't get it mixed up with the DLC is coming on February the 15th. But going back to what I was saying, one thing we do know is that they're going to be talking about the next gen versions of this game. If you've been following these videos for quite some time, you will know how I've always kind of stuck with my opinion and said I genuinely think the reason for the delay for the next gen version of this game is because they are looking at it almost like a second shot, right? It's a relaunch of a game to try and have a better launch than when they first did, of course, back in September. So that's basically how I've looked at the overall situation. Now, they did say that the next gen update will have haptic feedback for each character. Now, if you've played a game like Spider-Man Miles Morales, especially on the PlayStation 5, then you'll know how fun that game is on, of course, well, with the DualShock controller as well. So we know we're going to be in for a treat when it comes down to the next gen version of the game. Again, if I had to really speculate on the release date for that, I'm still going to push like halfway through the year, maybe sitting at possibly June or July. Maybe. The reason I say that is because I'm just thinking of other characters on the DLC roster that are still yet to have a date be confirmed, such as Spider-Man, such as Black Panther. I just feel like they may use the next gen update as an advantage for those characters. I've also always had the theory that they can go ahead and launch the next gen version of this game with essentially the Spider-Man DLC, especially considering he is a PlayStation exclusive. Again, just thinking of it from an overall marketing, I guess, perspective, I think that would make more logical sense. and would probably work well in the long run, but we'll still have to wait and see for that. Now, Clint has very different skills, heroics and traversal compared to Kate, and Kate's was a ton of fun as well, so I'm definitely excited to see that. And there will be a Clint showcase in the dev stream later, just like Kate had, and an example that was given to basically match up the comparisons is that Clint even swings his swords different than Kate's. And again, this is basically unintentionally, not clearly making it obvious. They're trying to give us reasons to basically be hyped for this DLC, but we all basically see it as an overall situation where we just say these two DLC characters that are back to back are archers. What is actually different about them? So this is almost just unintentionally giving, well, intentionally but almost acting unintentionally, giving us these reasons to not basically say these are the exact same DLCs. Now, the pulsar arrows basically stick to surfaces, and then you can just remote detonate them essentially, which is going to be a ton of fun. Again, I'm just thinking of situations where there's always a ton of waves, a ton of enemies, and for me that is when it comes down to vaults. I think when it comes down to Hawkeye, all these moves like the tripwire arrows and the pulsers, etc., I genuinely think it's going to be a situation where you have to be in that sort of predicament to say this is a ton of fun, and this is why you want to be able to upgrade that as well, because that's another aspect we have to look at when it comes down to the skill trees and the gears, and basically, are you going to go long range, are you going to go melee, etc, etc. So you still have to take all these things into consideration. Now, the trip arrows come in free and they are connected by energy, and then they just essentially knock the enemies back. So again, it's a vault situation. Now, as it stands, that's all the info that has been scattered around from multiple sources, in the sense that we've had the official announcement on the Play Avengers official Twitter account, and then of course we've had the dev live stream as well. Now, I don't know if we're going to get more dev live streams essentially covering, I guess, what's going to be going down in this DLC for the next 2 weeks, right? Because it's going to be happening on the 15th, so we're basically 2 weeks away. So if we get a dev live stream again this week and next week as well, that would be good. And then if it gets announced on the 15th and all of that stuff, we're talking a release date, etc., then that would be the week where we have another live stream by the devs, where they'll go ahead and showcase, of course, Clint aka Hawkeye in action. And we've already seen that with the Kate Bishop DLC as well, so we kind of know what to expect. But again, when you see a character being controlled by AI versus actually being able to feel that character when you're in control, it's just a complete different ball game, right? So that's how we're going to know how this character plays. Is it worth the wait? And I think at that moment in time, that's when we can officially determine, is the DLCs looking bright for the game, or are they going a bit south? But guys, leave your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments section below, and that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. So if you missed the previous one, like I said, which was discussing the release of Hawkeye, or the video earlier today, which was about Gotham Knights versus Marvel's Avengers and whether or not it'll outperform the game, then go ahead and visit those links as well in the description below. But I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and until the next one, adios amigos.